right, folks, Chris Waters here at Treyarch headquarters, deep inside the belly of the beast. I'm joining David Vonderhaar to talk about esports and Call of Duty Black Ops 2. David, the presentation you were giving us earlier, you talked a lot about how you guys are purpose building from the ground up a whole suite of tools in Black Ops 2 to facilitate competitive gaming, and not just for MLG competitive gaming leagues, but for everybody. Can you give us a little overview of what all you're putting in there?
Yeah, so there's a couple of really key features that make up the suite of what we call the esports agenda or initiative, right? Mm-hmm. So starting at the top, you have to make Call of Duty a sport. That's the league play feature. People just go and they start playing in a league. It's very transparent and easy. It uses skill-based matchmaking, and that allows you to get a skill ranking and play with people of even skill, because competition is fun at any level. So even if you're not such a great player, you'll be playing with other not so great players, which makes that fun. That's the first thing.
You won't be getting your face stomped in by like quadruple prestige guys rolling through.
Yeah, so quadruple prestige guys just means they play a lot, doesn't mean they're good.
Fair enough, that's true. Now, league gaming, that sort of has a it has a connotation of overall structure and joining and enrolling and picking a team or something like that, but it's much easier than that.
Yeah, it actually was really important to us to be sure that you didn't have to really worry about any of that stuff, that you just go in and you just start playing, and it's that Call of Duty matchmaking experience that you expect. You hit A, you're playing. Mm-hmm. If you want to play as a team, you can get with your friends, you'll be a team. If you get with different group of friends, that's a different team. If you want to play by yourself, that's solo, you can do that too. Very important for us to be sure that it's the experience, you pick a league and you're playing.
So yeah, it's pretty much just pick up and play Call of Duty, except now there's skill-based matchmaking, now you're playing with a team, and now you're seeing sort of your ranked play among the leagues. Now does that lead into any kind of competition? Like, is there a league cycle at the end of every month, the winner of the league is crowned or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we haven't exactly settled on how long what we call a season will last, mm-hmm. but that's really what that is it's really important for us to be able to have a competition over a set period of time and then have another one after. That lets us do a couple of key things. Lets us move guys up who deserve to be in a higher division. Mm-hmm. It lets us clear out old players who aren't participating anymore in the system, so they're not occupying a slot that belongs to somebody, right? So the game will actually support seasons. It'll probably be about 30, 35 days, and then you'll roll over to the next one, and you're still part of the league, and you're still there as long as you keep participating.
All right. Now, of course, the play is only one part of what makes competitive gaming something that people are something more than just you sitting and playing in your room.
Yeah.
There's also the broadcasting. Who's the audience for this? Because that's another key factor.
Yeah, so it's actually really important that we let a game that's being played competitively be watched by everyone who wants to watch it. Mm-hmm. So the game natively supports what we call live streaming. So live streaming, if you're familiar with this concept, people are doing this already.
Oh yeah.
Right? They've got
droves.
There's a lot of them, and they've got some pretty sophisticated hardware usually, with capture cards and expensive software.
Yeah, but it requires a bit of an outlay on your part, more than just your Xbox 360 or your PS3 and your TV.
Not with Black Ops 2 though. So the important part about the live streaming is you just hit the on button, and you'll be live streaming to the internet natively without that kind of investment. So we can turn more people into live streamers that are playing in league play. It's very important to us.
Now, there are a lot of huge live streaming sites, Twitch TV, of course, being one of the biggest ones. Are you guys are you doing your own sort of proprietary Black Ops 2 site, or are you integrating to multiple different outlets?
We're working on all that right now, but nothing's been announced yet, so I'll get into that with you guys in the future about where, but here's the thing. You're live streaming on the internet, and we want to be where the players are, so you can expect to hear about that.
And so anytime you fire up your league play game,
that's right.
Boom, live stream, you can do it.
If you want to turn it on, yeah.
Okay, now I am playing in my league play game. I happen to, find the gamer tag of another guy who's playing in the game as well. I check out his live stream. Am I just looking at what my competitor is doing?
Well, live streaming has an intrinsic delay built into it intentionally to kind of prevent any kind of weird scenario where you can use that stream to give you any kind of competitive advantage. So we just naturally delay the game. Right now the delay is 15 seconds. It might be longer or shorter. And that's the basic way we deal with making sure that you're not using this...
or abusing it.
Abusing it's a good choice of words, yeah.
So, yeah, what you're seeing is already old news.
Yeah, that's right.
But, if you're a spectator just watching the match, that delay is not going to be a thing for you. You're just going to be seeing it happen. And are you, live streaming is a lot about audience interaction and about the personalities of the players coming out. That's another thing that makes spectating kind of electric. How are you guys bringing that out?
Yeah, it's a great question. So this is really one of those major pillars of the esports agenda is you have to make the game really fun to watch. So there's specifically a feature in the game called shoutcasting. And what shoutcasting does is it lets a player in the game assume the role of a special type of spectator. And a shoutcaster has some things that a normal player doesn't have. He has a view of the game from a bird's eye view. He can see both sides of the battle. There's a nameplate of each player, and their name is in lights. It's big, so you know who you're watching, so you can get behind your favorite players and see who's good and who you want to pay attention to. And then, sort of like any major sporting event, right at the top of the screen, both teams, the time limit, who's got what objectives, the score, all of that gives the guy who's watching this game this really quick access to the experience that can kind of get in the action immediately no matter where he picks up the stream.
So the shoutcaster is in the match, not on a team, not actually playing, and can see all this information, but then that player's active role is to shoutcast or sort of commentate on the game and on the action.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird to even think about, right? Here's a guy in the game on a team called Shoutcasters, but he's not actually playing the game. He's doing nothing but being a play-by-play announcer or a color commentary. It's a new type of role that you get to take on. And it makes that game a lot more fun to watch for other people when they have a Shoutcaster.
Now, a Shoutcaster can join an active match, but you can also pull replays out of the theater as well.
That's
to shoutcast over to them?
Yeah, so we introduced the theater in Black Ops 1, right? You could go back and look at previous games and go through them, but you could actually go back and look at a previous replay as a Shoutcaster. So even if a Shoutcaster isn't in a match you and I play, he can come pick up the game later and then shoutcast it.
And so if he's shoutcasting, say, a theater, does the Shoutcaster have his own channel? How do people then attach themselves to shoutcasters and say, this is the character, this is the guy who I like to listen to and watch matches? How do they, does the shoutcaster have that, how do they get themselves out there?
Sure, so intrinsically in the game, which we'll get into a lot of the details about as we get on, but in the game there's a way to actually mark and follow those people that you're really interested in following. They'll be featured in the game, they'll be featured outside the game, and then that's the way you'll kind of learn this scenario. So when that guy goes live, he starts broadcasting, you'll know that, so you can follow him.
Now, if I'm a player and I see, all right, this guy's shoutcasting my match, I want to see how that went, because then I have to download afterwards and check out the replay, because I'm not hearing the shoutcaster as a player, correct?
That's correct.
Because otherwise, I mean, you're just giving away the whole game.
Yeah, the
right?
Shoutcaster can hear players, but the players can't hear the Shoutcaster.
Now that's an interesting feature. I don't think we mentioned. The Shoutcaster can tap into the team chat and can tap into and listen to players talk.
Yeah, we call it listen in. So it's really just press a button and then you hear that entire team communicating and working. And again, very important part of making it fun to watch. When you can see and hear how a team is working together combined, that makes the game fun to watch. That's one of the things that Shoutcasters can do.
It taps into sort of the energy of the match, right? You know, those players get to convey their own personalities and their own team dynamic, and it would ally you with a team if you know, like, oh, they're funny, or I love how this guy's always yelling at everybody. He's crazy, you know? All right, now, say there's a match that's going live. It's a pretty high-profile match, an MLG match, or some other high competitive match. Can only one Shoutcaster lay claim to that match?
Not at all. So, the guys who set up the game can determine whether they even want Shoutcasters in their game, right? So the host of the game is effectively in charge of whether shoutcasting is enabled or disabled. It's part of the feature.
Okay.
Right? So you won't have shoutcasters in games you don't want shoutcasters in. If you want shoutcasters in, you'll turn it on. At that point, you can have actually multiple shoutcasters. So, like I was saying, shoutcasters are like a team. They're just not playing. So you and I can both be shoutcasters watching anyone's matches together.
I could be the Pat Summerall to your John Madden.
Exactly right. And you have your view and I have my view, and that's what makes it fun. We can hear each other and can talk to each other.
Okay. Now, what you said, people can say, I want a Shoutcaster or I don't. From a player's point of view, when they're actually playing the match, the Shoutcaster has no impact on their experience.
That's
Is that right?
That's correct.
So it would just be a personal preference. Like, I don't want some guy yakking about my Call of Duty play. I just want to play and not have it show up online.
That's exactly right. So, big top matches, the ones you're talking about, those will have shoutcasters. They may even have official shoutcasters. Or maybe I'll get to shoutcast a couple, right?
Yeah.
So those will have them, of course. But you could go play League Play or any other custom game. right? And decide if you want to have a shoutcaster as part of that experience or not.
All right.
At least right then in the moment, right? Because you can always grab it from the theater.
Because you can always pull it back out of the theater, then do your thing, and then a shoutcaster, would be able to then upload like the file of their theater shoutcasting somewhere to be visible, presumably?
Yeah, so most shoutcasters, they have lots of ways to get their content back out.
That's true.
Right? So their own live streams, our live streaming, and YouTube, all sorts of great ways that you'll see. Just like you saw a lot of theater videos being made from the Black Ops Theater, I think you'll see a lot of shoutcasted videos being made that then go out.
Now let's talk about that sort of, you touched again on the tech that some of these folks already have to stream that you don't need for Black Ops 2. But what we did see showed off in the multiplayer session we were just playing is in your live stream you can have your Xbox Live Vision cam, your USB, your PlayStation camera. You can have that on you, and it's like a little picture-in-picture.
That's right. It's completely optional, so you don't have to have a USB camera. If you unplug it, the window will just collapse, and that's the end of it. But if you'd like, and it's part of actually the super important agenda about getting to know players, right? So a guy is live streaming, he's got his camera, and he's got his little picture-in-picture window, and you have a connection to that player beyond just his name and his play style and the weapons he likes, but you get to see him, right? So it's part of making people sports heroes, right? You want to see them. They're a little bit of a celebrity. So that's what that feature's for.
You guys are certainly, that whole focus of basically blowing up competitive gaming by using, the sequel to one of the greatest biggest entertainment launches in history. You guys have a very unique platform here, and with this very thorough approach to launching esports shoutcasting, what are you hoping will be the effect of these features?
Like I said, my personal dream is that this kind of thing is as big or as popular as anything that you see when you're watching sports on television, right? You have to start someplace. Absolutely. You have to go after this and try for it and make it happen, right? The X Games wasn't on TV until it became on TV, right? So you start somewhere with this stuff. So, if you come at it and you've got this concept of a sport with league play, you have a way of making a production out of it with the shoutcasting feature. You bring celebrity to the best players, the best team owners, and the best shoutcasters, and then you give that all away to put them on the internet or have a broadcast network. Those four things combined could really help push this to the mainstream. This is for everybody. It's not just for the top 2% or the bottom 10.
Yeah, the people with that specific interest, but now you're bringing it to them, making it really easy.
I think so, and we're really excited about this feature and what we can do with it.
Well, David, really excited to see how it all works out when Black Ops comes out later this November?
That's correct, November 13th.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.